Here we're asked to perform a number of base conversions. Each one of these involves either base 2 or a base that is a power of 2. So first, converting from base 2 to base 8, we can make use of this table over here. We're going to bunch this into groups of 3 digits. So I want to rewrite this as 1, 0, 1. That was our first 3. Then the next 3 is 1, 0, 1. That was this batch here. And then we have 0, 0, 1. And then finally 1, 1, 0. So I'm putting a little space in between each of these to make it easier to read from the table. So this is base 2. So we have numbers in base 2, and we want to convert them to base 8. Now, when you're using this table, when you're going from base 2 to base 8, we ignore this first column right here. We ignore that leading 0. So 1, 0, 1, I see that come up right here. 1, 0, 1 is in row 5. So our first digit is a 5. Next up, 1, 0, 1. That's the same thing, so that's another 5. And then 0, 0, 1, that occurs right here near the top. 0, 0, 1, that corresponds to the digit 1. And then 1, 1, 0, we see that down here. 1, 1, 0 is 6. So this gives us our number 5516, and this is base 8. The next question, we're taking the same number and converting it to base 16. Now 16 is 2 to the 4th, so we're going to group this into blocks of 4. So we have 1, 0, 1, 1. That was this first batch of digits. Next we have 0, 1, 0, 0. And then finally 1, 1, 1, 0. This is still in base 2. All we did is add some spaces to make it easier to read from the table what this should be in base 16. So 1, 0, 1, 1. We look down here. 1, 0, 1, 1. We see is B. Next up, 0, 1, 0, 0. 0, 1, 0, 0. I see over here is 4. And then finally 1, 1, 1, 0. 1, 1, 1, 0 is E. And we converted this to base 16. Third question is to take a number in base 8 and convert it back into base 2. Each one of these, I'm going to look up the number in our base 2 table over here. But again, because we started out in base 8, I'm going to ignore that leading 0. So 7, I see in this spot, if we ignore the leading 0, is 1, 1, 1. So that's our first set of 3 digits, 1, 1, 1. 3, we go and look that up. We're going to ignore the leading 0 again. We see that it's 0, 1, 1. 0 at the very top of our chart, again ignoring the leading 0, we see that it's 0, 0, 0. And then finally 5, we ignore the leading 0 again, and we have 1, 0, 1. And that's our number in base 2. The fourth question is very similar. We start out in base 16. We're going to base 2, so we're going to use the chart again. A, we look up on our table. That comes right underneath 9. We see that's 1, 0, 1, 0. That takes care of the A. Next up is the 4. We go and look at the table in the 4 spot. We see that it's 0, 1, 0, 0. So the 4 is now taken care of. We go to C. C, I see down on our table, is 1, 1, 0, 0. And then finally, the last digit is 2. We go and look up 2. We see that's 0, 0, 1, 0. And now our number is in base 2. The last 2 questions, we're going from base 8 to base 16, base 16 to base 8. Here we have to go through base 2 as sort of a middleman. So let's convert each of these to base 2 to begin with. So this 1, 3, 5, 7, that's in base 8. Well, 1 from our table is 0, 0, 1. Remember, because we're in base 8, we're going to ignore the leading 0. 3 is 0, 1, 1. 5 is 1, 0, 1. And 7 is 1, 1, 1. And this is in base 2. Now, because we're converting this to base 16, I want to group this in blocks of 4 digits. So we have these 4 at a time. And then we're going to convert each of these, based on our chart, into base 16. So 0, 0, 1, 0. 0, 0, 1, 0, I see up here, is 2. 1, 1, 1, 0. That's near the bottom of our chart. 1, 1, 1, 0, I see, is E. And then 1, 1, 1, 1 is at the very bottom of the table, and that's F. And so we now have our number in base 16. And then finally, the last one, we're converting from base 16 to base 8. So we've got to use base 2 again as a middleman. So we're going to convert each of these digits from our table. D, from the bottom of the table, I see is 1, 1, 0, 1. So 1, 1, 0, 1. And then our next digit is 3. So 3 up here is 0, 0, 1, 1. So 0, 0, 1, 1. And then our digit A, right here on the table, is 1, 0, 1, 0. So 1, 0, 1, 0. That's base 2. And now we've got to convert this to base 8. So we're going to group this in blocks of 3 digits. So 3 digits here, 3 digits here, 3 digits here. The first one, 1, 1, 0. We looked it up on the table, and remember we ignore the leading zeros. So 1, 1, 0 I see is here at 6. So our first digit is 6. Next we have 1, 0, 0. So 1, 0, 0 is up here at 4. And then we have 1, 1, 1 that I see is up here in the 7 spot. And then finally 0, 1, 0. Remember, we ignore the leading 0, and then 0, 1, 0 will give us 2. And that's our answer in base 16.